Welcome to my presentation. My name is Sebastian Himmler, and I will be presenting some work I did with some colleagues at the Erasmus School of Health Policy and Management on estimating the monetary value of QALY in Germany, which fits quite well to the session, but also to my topic, which is the societal value of health and well-being gains. To put this into the broader context of the health economic research field, well, here it's called B, the field that what is health, what is its value, and this is important to know to inform microeconomic evaluation at treatment level, or also called the cost effectiveness, cost utility analysis. Just a little background on cost effectiveness analysis. Well, it is a tool that is used to allocate healthcare resources and is used in different contexts, different countries. And the idea is that you actually estimate the health gain a new treatment has, measured as QALYs, so quality adjusted life years. One QALY basically is 1 year in full life. And on the other hand, you estimate the costs associated with a certain treatment, and then put these two in context. And well, the question then is like, how much are we willing to pay for a certain health gain? And some people have suggested a threshold value of 50,000 per QALY, some of 20,000 per QALY, also depending on the context. And what I will be presenting is about finding that value using a new approach. And this approach is the well-being valuation approach. Other approaches like willingness to pay approaches or opportunity cost-based approaches have been used before, with like varying estimates to some extent, and also with some limitations on their own. So we wanted to go a different route with the well-being valuation approach, which is a regression-based approach and uses observational data and a marginal rate of substitution between income and health in a life satisfaction regression, where you actually assume that life satisfaction is basically a proxy for overall utility. And this approach has been used before by different authors in different contexts, and recently also more and more in the health field, and once before for estimating the value of a QALY actually. The data that we will be using is from the German Socioeconomic Panel. It's a panel data set with 30,000 observations per year and has like the necessary information. And this panel data set provided us with 190,000 observations from around 30,000 individuals, which were observed at multiple time points. So the empirical model that we are estimating is actually quite simplistic, because we have life satisfaction as like the proxy for overall utility on the left-hand side. And we want to estimate the effect that income has of life satisfaction, but also the effect that health has on life satisfaction. Health is measured using health utilities or on a QALY scale based on S of 60 utility values. And basically what we then estimate based on this regression, well, the monetary value of a QALY basically corresponds to an income change necessary to maintain life satisfaction at the same level if we change health utility by 1 unit. And this is also the reason why it's called the compensating income variation. To come to the results of our analysis, so we did test a lot of different specifications. We did test, when you look at the baseline estimates, actually 2 different approaches for most of the specification, which is the upper line is basically the OLS line, so that's just a regular OLS fixed effects model in the baseline model, and the lower value is actually instrumental variable regression, where we try to overcome the endogeneity of income on life satisfaction with using an instrument based on industry, occupation, cell. So the specifications that we then actually looked at was whether they're regional or whether time periods actually make a difference for estimating the effect. So we have time periods from 2002 to 2018. So time periods do to some extent play a role, and regions also, especially because in the eastern part of Germany find lower values, which can be attributed to like the effect of income on life satisfaction being different in East Germany compared to the West. There are some differences in subgroups, but more importantly, we looked into different specifications of income, because this is more of could be more of an arbitrary decision on how to specify that in this regression, and we saw that this matters actually quite a lot. So when we use logarithmic specification, which accommodates for like a diminishing marginal return of income on life satisfaction, we get a lot higher values, which is a sort of a surprise finding, because the previous paper who used this approach actually didn't find a big difference. We also used an income spline approach. So basically we separated our sample in different income groups and then calculated the monetary effort value in all of these income groups, also to accommodate sort of for the diminishing marginal return of income, and then aggregated it up. And if you do not include like this, the fourth income spline, which is basically the top 90% of income earners, then we get a lot lower value compared to if we include them. This also makes sense because in this population group, the impact of income on life satisfaction is very, very low. We also looked at different health specifications, for example, which utility tariff to construct the asset, to construct QALY equivalent values to use, but also looked into the health state dependence of the utility of consumption or income. So whether income effect is dependent on health, which is an important issue in using this approach for valuing QALYs. To come to the conclusions, so first of all, this approach is also has also several limitations which relate to the endogeneity issues, because basically you assume that the effects of income and life satisfaction and of health and life satisfaction are causal effects, and by instrumenting for income we try to overcome this, but this is also not perfect, and basically further research is also needed in the approach, and especially concerning the health state dependency of the health state dependency of the utility of consumption. What makes this paper basically very relevant also for different countries and different contexts is that basically the core ingredients of this analysis, of this type of analysis, can be found in most of the European countries. So there are always some data sets that collect life satisfaction, some sort of health measure, but also income data. So the results or the conclusions that we draw from in our analysis may be quite relevant for other applications using this approach in different contexts. Because, for example, in Germany, they do not use cost-effectiveness analysis at the moment, which makes the results not directly applicable for now. But considering the current situation and considering that efficient allocation of healthcare resources is something that will become more and more important, it may also be the case that Germany kind of rethinks its stance on not using cost-effectiveness analysis. This was my presentation on one of the papers of my PhD, and thank you for your attention.